Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on Python for beginners. In the last video, we learned about list. Today, we will learn about tuples and sets. So before we begin, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Also click the notification bell so you'll get the first updates on when I post a new video. So let's begin. Now when we talked about list in our last video, it was mentioned that a list is made up of multiple values and it can also be of different types like int, float, string, etc. Tuple is almost same as a list. The only difference is that we cannot change the values in the tuple. So if like we say there's a list and we can change the first value in it, but in tuple we cannot change it. So let me open my editor and let's start with the execution. So I've opened my editor and let me make a list. So let's say num equals maybe 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. And then I do num of 0. We can see that we got 2. So we get the first value. But in tuple we cannot do that. So for testing that we have to first create a tuple. Now in list we used to use square brackets, but in tuples we have to use round brackets. So I'll make a tuple named Tup, and in that let's take some values like maybe 21, 48, 35 and 10. Now let's try to fetch a value. So for that we can fetch it using normal square brackets, how we have used it in list. So if I write Tup of 0, we can say that we have got 21. Now let's try to change a value. In list what we used to do is, let's say I wanted to change 3 to 4. So we can do num of 1 equals 4 and then we could write it. So if I do this, I'll just show it. So if I do num of 1 equals 4 and then I print num, we can see that 3 has been changed. But in tuple, if I try to change it, so let's say I want to change 48 to 50. So I'll do top of 1 equals 50 and we can see that we have got an error which says that the tuple object does not support item assignment. This means that the values in a tuple cannot be changed. Now let's try to do some functions or methods of tuple. So what I'll do is, again like last time, tup dot, and a pop-up should appear, but you can't see the pop-up, so I will just paste it again. Now here there are only two methods, like we have index and count. Now I only two methods. We will find that out. So first let's see what count and index does. So what count does it counts the occurrence of a value. So let's say I have 10 numbers in a tuple and 4 occurs, let's say twice. So if I use tup.count on it, it will print 2 times, which means 4 has occurred twice. Let's try it out. So let's say I make a new tuple. Let's give it numbers. And in that let's add 4 twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now if I do numbers dot count and in bracket I'll do 4 because I want to find how many times 4 has occurred, we can see we have got the output 2. This shows that 4 occurs twice. And index is like it finds the index value of an element. So if I write numbers dot index and in bracket let's say I write 5, so we can see it is found at the 5th index because 1 is 0, 2 is 1, 3 is 2, 4 is 3, again 4 is 4 and 5 is at 5. But we see that there are no append, insert or remove functions of a tuple. It's simply because of the property of the tuple, which is that we cannot change the values of the tuple once it's made. Now because of this, where is a tuple used? Well, the only place where you can use tuple is when you don't want to change a value that we have entered. Now I guess that is it for tuples. Let's talk a bit about sets. Let's talk about sets now. So set is basically a collection of unique elements. Now why I said unique, I will show you that. So we use curly braces for sets. So let's make a set. So S and in curly brackets let's add 20, 58, 42, maybe 80, and I'm gonna enter 80 twice just to show you why I said that it is a collection of unique elements. Yes, and let's print it. So s equals. Now we can see here that the numbers that I have entered all have not come, only 80 has come once, as it prints only unique values. And you might be thinking that I have entered it in some order and it has printed it in some other order. That's weird. Let's try again. So I'll make a new set, let's say some different values. So 80, 52, 3, 45 and 15. Let's print it. Now we see here that it has printed them in some different order. This is a property of set which tells us that the set has no order, no specific order. So any set you enter any values in a set, it is going to print them in some random order. Sets also won't allow us to fetch a single value from it. So if I write s of 0, it will give me an error which says set object is not subscriptable. And there's a simple reason behind it. Because set does not support indexing. The reason behind it is it prints random values. So at one time, if we are searching number 80, it could be at the first number, it could be the last number, sometimes it could be the middle, it can be anything. Now functions wise, we can use different functions. I'll again put a photo of it. These are normal functions that we use like add, difference, union, intersection, etc. I suggest you guys to try them out. This is basically how set works. Now let us recap about what we have learned in the previous videos. So firstly, we had list, which is a collection of multiple values which can be of different data types, and we can also add and remove values in them. Then we had tuple, which is also similar to the list, but in tuple we cannot add or remove values. Lastly, we had sets. Now this is also similar to the list, but the difference being that set does not maintain a sequence and duplicate values cannot be there in a set. So with this, that is the end of today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Also click the notification bell for quick updates on when I post new videos. If you're enjoying the content, do let me down in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.